Call to order the meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen, June the 3rd, 2025. You who join me in prayer and pledge. Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the night, Father, the opportunity to be here and conduct the business of the city, the citizens that we represent, Father. We ask you'll give us the wisdom to make the right choices and to lead us through this. Bless all of our employees, Father, our city, our county, our state, and our country, Father. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, it must be nice, huh?
All right. Roll call. I was about to say Patrick, but Donald,
I'm here.
Same difference.
Pete,
Here.
and Mikey,
Here.
Tim,
Here.
Angie,
Here.
and Bernie.
Present.
Okay, we do have a quorum tonight. I would like to, before we have our public hearing, to announce that Emma is going to be our new city clerk starting July the 1st, and she'll be here working with the new board. She comes over from, how many years? 6 years, as 6 or 7 years, as 5 years, excuse me, has been working her death. Thought it was a lot longer, but it's only been 5 years, as our court clerk, as our new court clerk approaches, Ms. Kyra. So these things are moving in a direction because of retirements that will be happening on June the 30th. But Ms. Emma, thank you for being here, and thank you for taking this position and moving forward and continuing to move forward with the city's business. All right, public hearing at 21021 Pineville Road, assessed to Jonathan Jones. I need a motion and a second.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
And that was to spread
The report,
pardon me?
spread the report.
Yeah, spread the
That I haven't read
report.
yet.
Yeah.
Notice of hearing was posted on subject property 21021 Pineville Road, Long Beach, Mississippi on May 9th, 2025 by Zoning Enforcement Officer Dale Stogner and mailed to Jonathan Jones at 24637 Oak Island Drive in Pass Christian, Mississippi. Notice was delivered on May 12th, 2025. That's the status of the property today. Looks like he has taken down the building.
He's taking down the building, but it hasn't
So
been.
he's working on it, Mike?
Oh, yeah. He bulldozed it over.
So we need to close it?
Yes.
Let me send these.
Well,
Y'all
yeah,
seen this in?
I still think if he's here, he has the option to speak.
We got to
I'm
close
not,
it first,
Yeah,
right?
well,
No, he gets a chance to speak before we
yeah,
close the
after we close the public hearing.
before.
I mean, before.
Yes.
yes, sir. I just didn't want to close it and then,
Is Mr. Jones here and wants to speak? If not, is anybody in favor of this or opposed to this? Okay, here none.
motion to close.
Second.
I got a motion second to close. Any discussion? Here none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next.
I'll make a motion that, how do I want to put this? That we have our building official follow up with it over the next 2 weeks into the next meeting. Wait, well, let me retract that. And I'll make a motion that we do adjudicate, giving our building official the next 2 weeks to review it, and if it's in compliance, bring it back to us at the next meeting.
Still second.
All right, we still got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Be reported back to this board, to next board meeting, third week of July, to see if progress has continued and moved forward. So, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we close the public.
No public comments?
No public comments. Okay. Announcements, presentations, and proclamations, we have none. Any amendments to the municipal docket?
Mr. Mayor, I do have a question whether it needs to be added or taken up under our minutes from our last meeting. At the last meeting, we approved work to be done on the island at Castine Point. should we take that, I have some discussion about that. Should we take that up under previous minutes or as a new title? Or
What was the,
We,
was there a situation in the minutes that was incorrect?
no, sir.
Okay,
So-
well, let's do it then under new business as 7. Y'all okay with that?
How about can we take it up under number 2 of unfinished?
Finished business.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I
yeah.
was clear before
Okay.
we went in and I found out I was out of order.
All right,
Thank
yeah,
you.
we could take it up under that section there then. Okay,
Mayor Bass, we also need to remove item number 4 under new business, Pure Lease, Cat Island Commerce, Keith Fulton, at the request of Mr. Fulton.
okay.
Motion.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to remove item 4 under new business, Pier Lease, Cat Island Commerce, Keith Fulton. We got a motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, any more announcements, amendments to the municipal docket? Okay, hearing none. Approved minutes, Mayor and Board of Aldermen, May the 19th, 2025 regular, and the May the 27th, 2025 work session. Motion second.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have Planning and Development Commission, May 22nd, 2025, regular. Motion second, discussion and approval.
Motion.
Got a motion and second, discussion.
Discussion. Do we need to pull the tree out where there's an appeal below it?
We've got the appeal. I think we'll go ahead and
We're
approve
good.
it, and then we address the appeal in the next item.
Okay.
So if, council, is that,
It's fine. I mean, it's on the agenda in appeals.
Right.
I did want to say it, going down into my house.
Let me just say, let me stop him right there. I went across the street. He's my neighbor, and I did go across the street. Michael McGill also looked at it, and I called him about it, but the corner of the house is cracking, and it is cracking in the mortar joints. But since he did not bring the right, or the new pictures to the planning commission that we have now, and you can see, and
Yeah.
he's dug down probably 3 feet, and there is a giant root up under the, it's a nice tree, but I mean, it is tearing his house up.
so your motion?
My motion is to.
This is a substitute motion to,
Substitute motion to approve his appeal where he can take the tree down.
I'll second his motion.
all right, we got a substitute motion to allow Mr. Ladner to remove the tree to protect his home. And we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Ladner, you can remove the tree. Okay,
Move it to Mikey's house.
yeah. Get Mikey to come help you.
Big tree. I hope you ain't cutting it down yourself.
All right, next we have approved docket claims number 060325. A motion and second, discussion and approval.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have unfinished business, Casting Point Phase 6. Motion second, discussion and approval.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
David, in your list of items, can you kind of go over what you have and where we're lacking as far as acceptance and I know we have the street, I don't want to put words in your mouth, I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah, we've got, as far as I know, there's hardly any of the items that are on the punch list. I don't have a copy of it in front of me, my apologies, but there's none of those items really that I'm aware of that for sure have been closed out. Some of the there's some that are, perhaps bigger than others, stuff that maybe isn't quite as big of a deal. You've got pump station issues, pressure gauges on the pump station that those are kind of sacrificial items that you kind of expect to go out on a regular basis anyways. But there's some larger stuff, like a failure in the road there about 300 feet west of Klondike Road. Don't know what happened there, if there was an old tree stump or what, but that got away from them, and it's cropping up now. You've got failures at the connection to Klondike Road. Those are some spots that I definitely think we should, push to finish. You've got the finishing of the ditch that I think if I recall correctly, we've tried to connect that into the subdivision maintenance period, which is really that ditch between the Rosie subdivision and the Castine, the last phase of Castine. I think the work's completed, but I think there's still some grassing that needs to be done and
Well, just
that was
to
done
be
privately.
clear on, and thank you for bringing that part of it. Just to be clear, the city is not involved in the ditch part. That's
Right.
between the contractor and the developer, which the city will not accept, or I will not vote for it unless that part is done. I mean, that's
right.
That was a verbal agreement between them and us, and out of all of them, that's gonna be one that I'm holding them to. So
Right.
that's why I wanted to go
Don't-
over it.
You talking about the gutter going down to the ditch on Klondike, is that?
I'm
trying
talking
to
about,
get
is it Crawford?
Crawford, yeah.
Crawford, the one on the back of Crawford. The city was involved with purchasing the additional, piping.
Piping, okay, you're talking
At
about
the
that
T.
ditch. Okay, yeah.
And the contractor has never come back and finished it. And I say that we don't accept this project. Forget about everything else on this punch list. That's been out there the longest.
Right, and I agree with you, and I think one thing that maybe we need to do, what David, our city engineer, just said about, the pressure gauges and such. Those are gonna be some timed equipment there that's gonna phase out in very short order. Is there, and I guess the question is, and it's the board's decision, is there anything on this list that we can mark off and narrow this down to a focus? Or do we just
Well,
keep it like it is? and-
I'm,
Personally, as a developer, I think if he brought this list to us and said it needs to be complete, it needs to be complete.
Okay, that's where I
well,
want to go.
I
That's good.
agree, but I also think that there needs to be a sit-down with the developer, David, and representation from the city.
I agree, to let them know this is not gonna get approved until this list along with the ditch is complete.
And I would say, Timmy, you're the most accurate person for this with your background of doing this on a daily basis. But I think that's what needs to be done, just so that it's not just coming from David, it's coming from the city.
The Castine developers, you want to sit down with them,
I
engineer?
think that's just fair, going,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
look,
I
we're
mean,
not
you
gonna
tell
just
them,
send you a
look,
letter,
this is-
here's what we want done. Here,
Right.
And they've been,
We want to close
you
it
know,
out.
I don't think they've ever said no, it's just, they're in an argument with their contractor, and that's got nothing to do with us.
Thing to do with us.
It's got zero to do with us, but we can't move forward until that argument is completed, period.
Okay. All
That being
right.
said, I'll make a motion that we remove this from the agenda until we have time to get with David and get with the developers.
I'll see if I
to-
can get, and have something lined up Monday or Tuesday of next week and see if we
I
can do
think,
that.
I think both members of the development need to be there, the ones that can make the decisions.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. All right, we got a motion second to set up a meeting with the developers, and city engineer, Mr. McCaffrey, you'll be available if I can get something set up? Okay. And do I have any other?
I don't
board
mind, I don't mind being there if you,
All right,
if you need
Donald.
somebody else.
This is in my ward. I have no problem being there as well.
Okay, that's perfect, okay. So we have, we've got, myself, and Donald and Pete and Timmy will meet with David and both of the developers, try to set up a meeting for next week. So that's the motion, and got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries. Next, we have a subdivision ordinance and island setbacks. We have nothing in our packet, or I have nothing in my packet from that. Donald, do you have anything on that?
So, I went to David's office and I discussed it with him. In my opinion, I think this is something that we as a city need to discuss at each development. I think we agree that these entrances, they look nice, but in the long run, they're not kept up because, one, an HOA wasn't formed, or it was dissolved, or so on and so forth. So they're becoming an issue for the city. We have to go back, we have to maintain them. And then there's an argument, for example, the one on Pineville Road with the fence issue. I just think, I think Mike needs to be aware of it, David needs to be aware of it, those offices, and say, hey, look, we need to discuss this before it's developed.
Yes.
I just think
I agree
instead
with
of reinventing the wheel and putting something in an ordinance, I think, you know, we have these guys here in place that know the problem. Let them, you know, police it themselves. That's my thought.
You want to put that in the motion?
Sure.
See if you can get a second?
But I do have further discussion before we go into a motion. Side note, second note would be, at the last meeting, we approved $20,000 for repairs at the Castine Point entrance there on Klondike. My thought is, after thinking about it, instead of, and discussing with David, instead of ripping all of that out, repaving and all that, why not just dig out the middle where there is plants and dirt and grass, and come back and just fill it with, you know, a base of gravel and then concrete. You have a curbing there that then we don't have to pay, I mean, we don't have to stripe the difference of an entrance and an exit. David said there's true savings in just doing that instead of ripping it up. So I don't know if you guys want it in two motions or one.
I think we could take it in one. I got a question there before we
Sure.
do make that motion. David, would that be a rollover curve?
It is a rollover curb now.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, that's all I want to know.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead and make your
trucks,
motion.
so trucks could run over it.
Right.
And not have a problem. It's thick enough where it's not being broken up by running over it.
Right.
So I'll make a motion, one, that we allow Mike and David to police the entrance islands on any new development. And the second part of that is that we go with option two of filling the island at Klondike entrance of Castine Point with concrete and be a rollover curb.
Okay, that's the motion.
Second
We
that.
got a second. Do we have any more discussion?
Coming off Klondike, the larger vehicles, and they're bouncing basically into the gutter, into that curb island, and just wallowing out that side. And that, of course, that once that problem starts, it's just a problem that continues over and over. And so providing concrete pavement in there, they're not going to be able to knock out and wash out any of that area. So it'll be kind of a smoother transition. I think the rest of that entrance area is part of the Phase 6 warranty, cleaning up.
Correct. That will be addressed on the
Yeah.
matter that we just
Yes,
tabled.
sir.
Just table, yeah.
Correct.
Clear, yeah. All right,
And I have
Yeah, I
one
should have
question.
discussed
right.
further with you, because
We
that's your
don't need to
backyard.
amend the minutes from the last meeting from both the things we did. It's easier just to go forward and make new
Yeah,
recommendations.
this motion in a second, if we pass this, replaces that action.
It's just it's just the manner of the work that you're going to do that you approved last time.
Right,
It's just the manner of work. You didn't change the approval to do it.
right. All right, any more discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have generator maintenance agreements. Motion second, discussion and approval.
So move.
Motion.
Second discussion.
Discussion.
I'm looking at police departments with one quote, and then I'm looking at, and correct me if I'm wrong, the back quote from Puckett is for all the.
All of ours.
Next on this, Mayor.
So right now, all we have is, and that's kind of why we tabled it last time.
Yeah, Keeney's got some information
Go
to
ahead,
share
Keeney, I'm sorry.
with us.
So at the last meeting, we presented the renewal for the generator maintenance just for the police department. The consensus of the board was, can we get all city generators on the same schedule? and asked me to call and check on that.
Yes, ma'am.
I talked to Taylor Generator, or Taylor Sudden Service. He said we can do that, but what's gonna happen is we're going to pay for extra services that we don't necessarily need. Like, we may have just had it serviced, but if we want that period to line up, they're gonna service it again. So it could be just a waste of money to do that in lieu of just keeping them on the schedules that they're on.
I see the chief shaking his head.
When did you have yours done?
City Hall, PD, Station 3, 1 and 2 were all done in March.
They were done in March, but they have different periods of service.
Right, the other one's what, finished in,
One starts in July, one starts in August,
Inspection was March, and now the next.
but they still renew at different times. Yeah, and that's just because when they were brought on. So I did check on that, and then the other information that's here from Puckett is information provided by Alderman Fraser that someone else wanted to give a quote on all of our generator maintenance, just as more information, another option for y'all.
well, I guess, let me interrupt this, and they're saying, no, we can't, well, it would cost us to put it on there, but, I mean, we're talking about a month. We have one more meeting before the June 30th, where the police stations, I don't want to go without any coverage.
Correct.
This is the point that I want to make, is we have one more meeting before the end of this month and before this maintenance contract goes. The other one is in July, which is 30 days from now. The other one is in August, so less than 60. Could they not give us a renewal quote on all of ours?
I tried to get that. I tried to go ahead and get him to give all of them to me. The local salespeople don't get these renewals until corporate sends them down, so he didn't even have it to be able to give to me.
Okay, can we give them another 2 weeks to be fair and say, hey, we've got 2 bids, you know, we've got another bid. Are you guys willing to bid on all of the renewals? I guess that's where I'm at on it. I mean, the board may disagree with me, but I'm going, hey, even if it's $100 difference, $100 when we're looking at our budget is $100. And I'm not trying to, Keeney, I know you worked on this, so please don't think I'm coming at you about this. I'm just going.
All I can do is
look,
relay the information that they provided.
Yeah,
me.
exactly. And my point is, do you still want the business? Can we get our quotes now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's property insurance and it's gonna change because we're in hurricane season now. I mean,
I understand. If
Is that
what
your
you want,
motion?
yes, sir.
Second, table it to the next board meeting
Yes.
and reach out to Taylor and say either do or die.
Yep,
Second it.
please.
Got a motion in 2 seconds. Any more discussion?
What-
Bob has it.
Want to add the senior citizens generator on there too.
Correct.
I believe it had 1 year maintenance on it, but I believe we're expired on that, right, David? We're coming up on it?
Yes.
And, I mean, we're definitely going to lapse on it.
And see, that's where I'm going, is I don't wanna miss any and go, when we find out it's 2 weeks after a storm and we still don't have any power.
Senior Citizens is not on Puckett's either.
It's not gonna be on there.
It's still under factory
Still under
warranty.
factory
for about another
warranty,
month or
yeah,
two.
yeah.
It'd still be
Got
good to
till
go
August,
reach out
I
and
think.
get them
Yeah,
to bid on that one.
get that one updated as well.
Not on their quote.
I think we're good to August on the senior citizens, but don't hold me to that. All right, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, new business, appoint Long Beach School Board trustee. A motion is second.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Eric Vowles.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and second to appoint Eric Biles.
Is that right, Eric?
I'm going with,
Bias.
Bias, excuse me.
We all
I am so
discussed it.
sorry.
I was just going to say V.
So we got a motion and a second, discussion. Only discussion I've got is we've had some good candidates come in and apply. I want to make sure that we get phone notification and letters out to those applicants, thanking them for their participation and asking them to please, we only have one a year. I won't be here next year, but please put in your application again. We've got great candidates, but we're limited to one a year. So continue.
But we do have one coming up in
Yeah,
November.
October.
or
Right, yes,
October is,
yes,
they advertise,
yeah.
that's the
This is-
regular schedule. This was a special appointment.
This is special, so this will be Mr. Pierce's position on the school board. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Special event application, Carnival Association of Long Beach Jeep McGraw Parade, and motion second for discussion and approval.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Mayor, I reviewed the application, and I just have one item of concern. It says that the setup start time is 3 p.m. Parade rolls at 6 p.m., which is a 3-hour window where they will line up at the high school stadium. And on page 2, it says, are you planning on providing portable restrooms? No.
We've always been able to have the restrooms at the stadium unlocked.
Okay, that was my question. That takes care of the concern I had.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have status of easement abandonment, Mitchell Road, Ms. Joyce Moran, and a motion second for discussion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Council, you want to bring us, I know we've been searching through this, and you've been diligently working on this for us, and could you bring us up to date?
I have, and I had prepared for this meeting, an ordinance for the vacation of an unimproved portion of Mitchell Road right away in Long Beach with the description and a map from the Harrison County. The problem we ran into the last 2 days, and Chief Skelly has been instrumental in helping me with this and may even be more so. None of the county documents, what the ordinance does is it refers and gives notice to the public of vacating of the certain easement to the west of Mitchell Road that runs parallel 330 feet of the property owned by Ms. Joyce Moran. The problem is that none of the warranty deeds that Ms. Moran has, or even the deeds that preceded her ownership, describe the easement. So Mr. Stogner in Dale's office and myself spent an extraordinary amount of time trying to find it on the city's plat, and the easement's not even depicted on the city's plat. Chief Skelly advises me he's got a plat which does depict the actual 15-foot easement from, what, 1911? I learned that today. It is ready to be before the board and voted upon, but I need I do need the exhibit, which is the plat, because it has to refer to where the plat is recorded, for example, in deed book, et cetera, et cetera. So just to say, that we have it, but not give the notice, the public notice of where it is recorded would be defective. So you're right, we have worked diligently trying to get the proper legal description of this easement, and the city really does not have much to go on. I'm hoping Chief Skelly's plat accurately describes it, and we can attach it as Exhibit A, and it is here ready. I've given Chief Skelly a copy, but I'll give Keeney one as well, to be on the next agenda for you to approve and publish, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Betty, with the exception of getting a proper plat that shows the easement. It's not out there.
Is Ms. Moran here? Yeah. Ms. Moran, I want you to know that the board is wanting to do this.
I know, I understand how it works, and will there need to be a survey done?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
We're trying, I was hopeful that a plat, an official plat of the county or the city would avoid the necessity and cost of a survey, because the city would not bear that. Give me, between now and the next meeting to look at this plat, see if we can avoid the necessity of a survey. Otherwise, we might have to.
Thank you.
That's the only other option that I can find.
Thank you.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have it ready to vacate at next meeting and give it back to you. Okay? All right, no action on this. Item 4 under new business has been removed at the request of Mr. Fulton. The status of Gulf Breeze landscaping contract. Motion and second with discussion.
Motion.
The second?
Second.
Okay.
Mayor, several meetings ago, this came up, and I requested the opportunity to reach out to Gulf Breeze and find out what their status was with respect to performing the contract, or whether they intended to terminate the contract. The board was of the opinion we were not getting the services which were described, or that the city was being billed for, I think was the discussion as I recall it. I did reach out to them and got no meaningful response from anybody. It's my recommendation the city go ahead and terminate the contract if that's the will of the board.
So moved. Yes, second.
Substitute motion to,
Second.
and substitute second to void council contract with them.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Donald, have you reached out to Edrington? You said you was gonna reach out to them.
I've dropped the ball on that one. I have not. I will.
So to keep, I know, what was their,
There was.
what's their company name?
There was a group that was willing to volunteer as a give back to the city to maintain it.
Because it's
It's out of control right now.
It's out of control right now.
But we've
I'll
got
make the phone
construction going on.
I have a question. So Keeney had gotten a bill from them, even though we had wanted to terminate and you were trying to get in contact with them. So does that still mean that we pay back these past few months? Because they have not done anything down
There's
there.
nothing been done there.
I would, if you'll provide me a copy of that bill with the notice of termination, we'll decline to pay that
It's
bill.
been at least a month.
If
and
the
nothing
board
been done.
authorizes me to include that in the
They
notice.
said they pulled weeds and they.
No, they haven't pulled
They
no
haven't
weeds.
pulled nothing.
They never pull weeds.
Don, didn't you say you had somebody that was volunteering to do it?
Yes, sir.
So we need to give them the okay to do that, Mayor?
I will reach out to them and get a formal request to, for the city to allow them to do that. I'll have it for you at the next meeting.
All right, so we got a motion and a second to do a cancellation with the current landscape company. Any more discussion? Hear none. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, discussion, crosswalks at Third Street and Jeff Davis, Alderman Frazier.
So, I was contacted by the local business, there, on Third Street. In the past, because they have a lot of, walking traffic from the park or from the town green over to theirs, they have in the past purchased, slow children sign and had it out in the middle of the street. They've purchased cones and had them out in the street. On multiple occasions, these cones and crosswalk sign have been stolen, and have it on video that people just drive up, pick them up, throw them in the back of their truck, and keep on going. My thought, and I wanted to bring it up for the board to consider, if we possibly could paint a crosswalk there. There's a lot of children in and out of that business running across that street for safety purposes. I think it might be nice for us.
So you're gonna make a motion to approve doing the crosswalk striping?
I would say let's get a price on what it would cost, not the thermal, not just the regular painting before we,
How about we get a price on painting and thermal?
I'm
Can
good
I
with
add
that.
something to that?
Sure.
Could we look right there on Railroad at USM, the USM little apartments where we have heavy traffic going from those students going across into USM off of Railroad? Just an estimate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. The board wants me to go ahead, we can go ahead and solicit that through our engineering and get a price on both of them, that they are proper, MDOT approved crossings? Y'all okay with that?
Absolutely.
So you don't need a motion?
Would y'all be interested in doing one at Bank House? At our Main Street meeting, we had talked about maybe accessing one right there, right here on Second, going to like Bank House, because we have a lot of people who park over here to walk, and going to Sister Swank and Dulce.
Personally, I think if we're gonna look at crosswalks, let's price them for each intersection on Jeff Davis. If we're gonna do one, let's do,
They should all be
All of 'em.
done, except for right here at Second. I think,
Yes.
but I will double check. Yeah,
But
just
I
off
think
the top
every
of my mind,
intersection should
every
have them if
intersection.
we're gonna do it.
So we'll include that, as getting a price on it, Second Street to Bank House, USM dormitories on Railroad, crossing over to, the south side of the USM campus, and of course, the one over here on Third Street. Everybody okay with that? You don't have a motion, a second on that.
I'll make that in a motion.
You want to make that into a motion?
That's my motion.
Okay, we got a second?
second.
Any discussion? Here none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, department business, mayor's office, I do not have anything tonight. So, all right, moving on, personnel, fire department, we got, step increase 6, city clerk's office, retirement 1, promotion 1, mayor's office, retirement 1, municipal court, promotion 1, and recreation, retirement 1, and promotion 1. I'll take all these, got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Discussion.
Just to let the board know, and just talked to the mayor, I talked to Chief Skelly, and if I'm not mistaken, when there is a promotion, even though it's from one department to another, there is a 6-month probation period
Correct.
that each individual will have to be put on.
Right.
So just to let y'all
Each-
know that there was some concern of
It's-
everything, so I know it's at least 6 months. I thought it was a year, but the mayor said he thought it was.
6 and 6,
Okay,
so,
that's what I wanted to tell you.
okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have city clerk revenue, expense report, April 2025. Motion second, discussion and approval.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, fire department, Chief Skelly.
Mayor, I do have something tonight for you and the board. We have received our fire rating after our
Latest review?
our review. Our audit and review. Got word back. Very pleased to announce that we have moved down to a Class 4 rating as fire department.
Wonderful.
I asked my administration to be here tonight. Several years back, we sat in my office and discussed going for this, and they got on board, and all of them have worked diligently. Assistant Chief Tim Darden here, he was our inspector for quite a few years, and now he's the assistant chief, and I have Mark Hudson, our training officer. Mark jumped on this and made lots of progress, big progress in the department as far as training goes. And I have Clayton Maxwell, he's our new inspector, and he'll be jumping on this. I spoke to Mr. Tom Sawyer about this and what it means for the class to drop like that, what it means for individuals, residents, and business owners. And he advised me it's about a 5% decrease on a residential
Home insurance.
premium, and about an 8% on a business. So I'm pleased to be able to give you all this news. I have to thank Public Works also, and they have been great keeping up with broken hydrants and what have you, and I'd like to extend a thank you to y'all. Y'all have, the board, mayor and board, y'all have worked on projects, getting water lines and what have you replaced in areas, Edmond Drive, Linwood Circle, places that have been in need of that for a long time, and I appreciate y'all. It helps us and it helps all the citizens. But we're going to keep on working on it. We're looking for a grant right now to try to find us some money to build a training facility behind the station. Maybe at that point, if we are able to find that, we're going to keep moving down in classification.
To 3. Congratulations, Griff. Congratulations to you and your men that have worked so hard, Public Works, everybody that's been involved in this to give our citizens what they deserve. And look, don't stop working. I know I spoke to you about a training facility, and we were talking about trying to find some containers that's acceptable to the State Rating Bureau to use containers where you can configure them like you want and stack them and use them as you need. So if anybody's out there watching and y'all know where we get some donated to us, what we need, about 10 or 12?
I don't know that we'll need that many, but we'll take
But we'll
whatever
take
we
10
can
or
get.
12.
Right.
So,
Mr. Mayor, could I just add real
Yes.
quick, and Tom's sitting here in the front row as well, as far as insurance, just to reiterate what Griff said about the discounts, we're now at a 4. There's only 3 cities in our state, in the entire state, that are 2. That would be Gulfport, Biloxi, and Madison. So we're at the top when it comes to fire ratings. So I just want to make sure that that is reiterated, that this is not a small feat.
No.
This is
a great
tremendous for our
achievement.
city. So
yeah, it's
thank
a
you, Griff.
great advancement for us, and you know, and when Griff had brought this to me, we got thinking, you know, we're, as a small city, we're up there at the top of getting this rating for the citizens. So, you know, it's a lot of work's gone into it, and I, for one, appreciate that. So,
Amen.
thank you much. So, anything else? You got any more good news for us?
That's it.
Okay.
For today.
All right, thank you. Let's see. Police Department, you got good news for us?
The police department, no news is good news.
No news is good news. Yeah, and you're exactly right. Yeah, I appreciate that, Chief.
No news
You know,
from Jeeping went off.
Hey,
right.
you did a
Jeeping.
tremendous job
Well,
there.
I was gonna wait till we got down to the recreation, because that was recreating. But you know, speaking to our Jeeping, we had so many visitors in our little city. I get a chance to get out and walk around, I'm sure all of you do when you're down there, to visit with people who are not from here. And they always speak so highly of our city. And they talk about how nice our citizens are. And I said, they're the ones that put friendly in the friendly city. And, you know, I appreciate, you know, our citizens. It's, you know, they put up with it. They live with it. I know we had complaints about the streets being dirty after a parade and everything, but when you drove down Sunday morning, you saw a clean city. They cleaned up. Most of the Jeepers cleaned up after themselves. There were a few, but there was always an exception. So to each department that's involved, Public Works, thank you. Thank your men. They were a very integral part in getting this done. Bob, your folks, thank you. Courtney, your coordination as the director, the community affairs director, has just been wonderful to make this happen. Police department, fire department. You know, people don't realize how many departments we had. Harry down at the harbor. You know, you could go across. You know, the permits were you know, coming out of the building office. So many people are affected here just in the city departments to make that go on. In talking to some of the businesses down there, they've had as they reported, they've had the best 4 days that they've ever had as a business. So we're looking forward to our tax statements when we get them in. So thank y'all all.
I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
Chief Billy, I'm getting some calls on being able to cross Highway 90 with golf carts, since it's closed now. how do we go about making Cleveland Avenue? Do we have to rewrite an ordinance?
I think you have to do something with the ordinance, because I
Can we
can't
do
say
a temporary? I don't know. I'm
Council,
asking.
can we do a temp crossing there? How do we eliminate our problem
Gotta-
situation?
You've got to amend the golf cart ordinance, which we did, which prohibited crossing at Cleveland.
Right.
So you're gonna have to do an amendment to that ordinance, publish it, have a hearing before you can do it.
Okay. Can we get that on the next agenda?
This is gonna be
I mean,
your long
it's gonna be a
project.
year before
Tell me
that.
exactly what it is. You want to allow crossing at the intersection of Highway 90 and Cleveland?
Right, because of Jeff Davis is closed. It's closed now. The intersection to get into the harbor is closed due to construction, and that's gonna be, correct me if I'm wrong, about a year?
It'll be about 9 months.
I think, in my opinion, I think we're just opening it up, and I would say no,
Well,
the year.
the only reason
what?
why we said no at Cleveland, those humps, and we have seen kids and all kind of people, babies on the back, and if those people cross in those golf carts and hit one of those humps and, you know, something fall out of a golf cart, whether it's a human or an ice chest or something, but that intersection has the big humps is why we chose to not allow golf carts. How we choose to go forward, I mean, if you put up bumper signs or,
Signage,
I
I
don't
mean,
know,
if-
but I'm just saying
it-
that was a concern.
Yeah. Very bad there.
Mayor, can I weigh in by a little email
Tom,
on this topic later?
I'll be glad if you get up that mic so I could hear you.
Just jump
You
into
know,
it, Tom.
I put, Steve, my risk management hat's gone on. Golf carts are wonderful, but boy, when they cross the highway, and especially when they have, we're seeing these golf carts, Chief, with 6 passengers now. And, you know, those humps, children, and Steve, I'm not a real fan of them going across a major highway unless there's some really serious markers and kind of rules. And Steve, I've just, my insurance hat's going on saying, oh my God, here we go. You know?
We already authorized it at Jeff Davis Avenue.
Right.
Tom, and it's gonna be temporarily closed for some construction on our gateway project, on our.
I assume they go to the harbor?
Moving the entrance from temporarily, perhaps, maybe permanently, I don't know, that's for the board, but from Jeff Davis Avenue to Cleveland. So it's not something we're not already doing. It's not a new risk. It's just a different risk it's the same risk at a different location.
When they
Am I
get there,
correct, Gordon? Is that what you're talking
Well,
about, Mike?
I think the risk, as Angie so greatly stated there, the risk is greater at Cleveland because of the way the road structure is there, going across on the westbound traffic into the center median and then crossing the same hump to get over through the eastbound traffic into the harbor. And I think that's probably what our insurance agent is telling us, that his fear is also is there at Cleveland. Now, you know,
But
I
perhaps,
can't-
Mayor, perhaps, Mayor, with this temporary movement, because it's not gonna be that temporary, it's gonna be for an extended time.
Right.
We could ask Public Works whether some additional signage.
Right.
Signage might be helpful at the
So I was just telling
intersection.
Mikey, even in the future, when Jeff Davis is open, we should get some golf cart crossing signs.
All right.
and put
Yeah,
up on-
and I agree with that. I think that, let's get some signage worked up through engineering and, Public Works, and let's bring this back at next meeting to be able to move forward with this, because this is gonna be a 9 month to a year, delay down there. And there certainly is there are people rather, as citizens here in the city that drive their carts and go down there to the restaurants. They drive down to the harbor, so, you know. There's a lot. Yeah, there is, so, all right, I'll just, we don't have a motion, a second on that, do we? Okay, I'll bring that back to us in the next meeting, the final countdown. All right,
Be the only thing on the agenda next.
that's it, nothing else.
That means you won't be able to break the record then.
12 minutes.
All right, next, engineering, we have a change order, Southeast Bulkhead, J.E. Bories Incorporated. Motion and second for discussion and approval. Do we have any discussion? We
So
have a
this is
savings of,
Cost savings, yes.
savings of $100,000 on this project.
Keep going, David.
And there is also a proposed fee adjustment for.
Yeah, and there is, and that includes the fee adjustment, because we had such a long delay with a lot more engineering involved. And I will say this, in meeting and talking with them and looking at things, they could have charged us more, but I asked them to let us slide with a little less, and they have. As I talked to them about it, I said, you know, we do have a scar there, we're gonna put a Band-Aid on part of it, and y'all gonna have to bleed, and we're gonna have to cover. So that's what we're doing. So, all right, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have project closeout, Edmund Drive Water Main Improvements. Motion is second, discussion and approval. Motion is second, discussion.
I'm glad it's over with, and
That's your discussion, huh?
yeah,
Thank God
glad
it's over with.
and I know the
Finally,
people that
I
live on
agree.
Edmund Drive are too.
I agree with you. It turned out, it ended up being a good project, but it did take a little longer than we anticipated. All right, any more discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Hearing,
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. Could the minutes reflect, please, that the package document interim waiver and release affidavit?
Yes.
It has a Scrivener's error, County of Hancock is corrected to say Harrison.
Okay.
I amend my motion.
okay, you got amended
Say
second?
Harrison.
Second.
You got amended second, to include that, to
Harrison
include
County.
the company
Thank you.
surety. And, all right, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. I had that marked to bring up and forgot about it. Next, we have award Third Street sidewalks to Hanmore Brothers Construction. A motion second, discussion and approval. Discussion. We're under,
Great addition.
yeah, it's great that we're moving forward with it. The amount of $333,285. And, this is a little under what we had estimated. So, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have award tennis and pickleball courts, Water and Woods LLC. Motion second, discussion and approval.
So moved.
Discussion.
You got a second?
Second.
All right, now we'll discuss.
Discussion. Where are we on money? What do we have to use?
500.
It's like 450, 500. I'm sorry, I was going to get exact numbers and I failed to do that. But we also have another infusion of $500,000 on a second infrastructure. So there is more than enough to cover. Bid.
I am just very concerned that I want our city to have all the amenities that, you know, the pickleball, tennis courts, basketball courts. But at this time where we're putting the girls' softball field, I don't know if any of y'all have grandchildren, children, whatever, but it is already a mess trying to park down there where we park. And we're adding this girls' softball field, and that parking is just gonna be a perimeter. Where we have the pickleball courts suggested is seriously needed for parking for those girls. Even at this price, looking at this amount of money, still need concession, lights, all of these are additional too, and I know there's separate. We're gonna go way over the amount of money we have. I feel like we need to allow the girls to get their softball field, evaluate it. Klondike, I know we need backup fields, but part of that, it's got a concession stand, it's got parking, it's got lighting, it's got everything that pickleball courts could go in there. But I've also been talking to a developer today. I'm hoping something comes out of that and we could move them maybe closer down here, but I'm just saying, I don't think we are going to have the money to put them there as much as I would like it. I don't,
I,
it's gonna become a money pit.
I understand that, but there's more property out there that can be cleared up from
It'd
wetlands.
be cleared, but the mitigation process would eat up this $500,000.
Absolutely it would.
Before we put a drop of dirt in it.
Before we do, I agree with you 100%. But let me finish what I was gonna say. If you were downtown at Town Green this week, and I know there's a push to put them down at Town Green, back there in the back. That place was packed up with Jeepers. We don't have a lot of green
Not
space.
in favor of that.
I know you're not, and that's what I'm saying. But if that comes down there to go down there to Town Green, that is the only green space we have. Now, what we have down at the foot of Jeff Davis on the west side of Jeff Davis and Highway 90, that doesn't belong to the city. And we have been graciously given the permission to use that property by both the landowners down there. Now, I personally think, my thoughts, that we do this cheaper by rebidding it. We're looking at it. We move this, it doesn't have to be right up by the front. We move it back further on that piece of property. There's enough property there, and then you develop parking there for the girls softball. Now, we don't know how long it's gonna take. We've been waiting over 2 years. We've seen a few things dropped out there, and we still haven't seen any progress on the fields being built.
Yep.
And that's a shame in and of itself. So, I think there's enough room that when we do eventually, and I say we, the city, the citizens, get a girls softball field, that we got room to put a parking lot over there on that side too. It may have to include some piping for a ditch. But there's enough room over there where you could park cars. And you're gonna have overload, overbearing, if you try to have a girls' opening day and a boys' at the same time. That's management, you separate them. My thoughts. So, Bob, you've got something to add?
I do. I met with Bobby Troshclair about a week and a half ago about the new softball fields, trying to clear up some gray areas that people were spreading rumors around. And while I was there, he asked me about the pickleball courts. Apparently, the county has built pickleball courts in Harrison County, and he asked me if, send them the info. They'll bid it. They'll see what they can do for us.
There you go.
So the county is willing, or at least Bobby, I haven't talked to Marlon, but if you reach out to them, they possibly could come in, which would save a ton of money. As far as parking goes over there where the designated area is, we never overlap opening day with boys and girls. They always pick one weekend and another weekend, just in case we have kids that play in both we don't interfere with. We've moved them to Friday nights instead of Saturdays to make it a little easier. If you go up to the baseball fields on a regular day, it looks like it's packed, but if you drive around the back side of the parking, there's nobody back there. I'd say probably 99% of the people park up front where it looks like it's full, but if you drive around the back, that whole back parking lot is empty, completely empty. So if anybody wants to see the designs and the layout of the new softball fields, I have them right here. I can provide them to everybody if they want to look. And there's a lot of parking. It circles the whole softball facility, so that adds another couple hundred.
Can you provide that to us for the next meeting?
It's gonna lay out similar to the baseball fields parking-wise.
It doesn't have the big open parking, but they will have parking all the way around the facility, 360 degrees. So there's quite a bit of parking there, so.
So can we,
I will provide everybody with a copy of this for the next meeting so they can look at the concession stand, the parking, and some of the other outlines as far as the field dimensions and stuff for anybody who's interested. I will provide that for everybody.
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Let's make a substitute motion to table it.
I'll second that.
And come back, maybe we can discuss at the next meeting a little bit more in depth. If I might add, everybody kind of look over this proposal, because I see some things that I got questions on, but we can do it at the next meeting.
Alderman Brown, I don't disagree with that motion. I maybe would like to entertain maybe an alternate motion. Table it indeed, but why not have Bob work with the county and submit? Let them go through see if they can help us with the bid process. in the interim. and
Right.
see
Yeah,
where it
we need
goes.
to do that anyway.
I'll do it.
I mean, yeah, okay, add that to it till the, and then can you, within 2 weeks, bring it to us?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's my motion.
Second.
All right, got a motion, a couple seconds. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have paving plan. I need a motion, a second discussion, and I'd like for David and Keeney to explain this. I've got to stop, I've got to step away from my phone right quick. David, if you'll go ahead, I'll be right back.
Okay. We worked with Keeney and kind of looked at really from the moment that y'all started getting your injections of funding from internet sales tax and what we have spent so far, and also not just what we've spent, but also mostly the larger projects that you've kind of pointed yourself at, like Pineville Sidewalk Phase 2, Pineville Sidewalk Phase 3, Jeff Davis and Railroad intersection, Klondike or Pineville and Klondike intersection, Cleveland and Klondike intersection, Cleveland widening. If you take all that you've received, all that you've spent, and all that you've kind of officially designated that you're planning on spending using those funds as local share, you come out of that process with about just a little bit less than 1.25 million, 1.23 million. So we have, and I apologize because the letter that's in your packet did not include Mitchell Road. And so I think hopefully each one of you has a copy of a revised letter that we've got there. And so basically what we said then, besides, out of that 1.23, we know that we just went ahead and kind of said, what would we, if we had to spend the other money and stuff that's been discussed to date, we have that list of 7 items, West Railroad, La Rosa, Townsend Fleury, West Railroad and White Harbor Bypass. The one thing that I don't know how much has been discussed on is the Gateway Project parking lot, East Railroad, and then widening Mitchell Road, the middle Mitchell, which is really between Pineville and Lover's Lane. So really, these aren't necessarily in any sort of order at all. It's just the way they came out of our keyboard onto the page. Those projects would actually exceed your available funding of that 1.25. Those would exceed, just all of those, by more than 900,000. So if you're gonna limit yourself to the available funding of 1.25, you probably need to pick from this list or come up with some other list or choose to spend more or however you want to do it. That's where we're at really to kind of say that just the 7 items right there is around 2.1 million.
So,
Right off the bat, I think everybody agrees that West Railroad Street needs turning lanes, but I don't think that should happen at this point. I think we should wait until we get more money coming in to start a new project like that.
Keeney, is this
Let
current?
me add
Yes.
something. Let me add something to that.
I'll
We
explain
have,
it. My
we have
methodology.
GRPC money that's been designated for 28th Street and Beatline. And what we've run into, we got about I think it's about $280,000 that's been given to us. And we've set aside our match for that already, our 20% match. So, you've got 20% of the 280 is gonna, you got, another 56,000. So we've met with Gulf Regional, and they said, Kenneth with Gulf Regional Director has said he would move that down to Beatline for the bypass there. And the reason we can't do anything up there at Beatline, would take us probably another $700,000 because of utilities there. Utilities involved with the Harrison County Utility Authority. They've done a lot of work there, and a lot of that, well, not a lot, that would have to be moved and relocated. So we don't have the funding for that up there. So rather than lose it, I approached, it's been 3 or 4 weeks ago, we approached Kenneth, had a meeting in my office and asked him if it was feasible to move that, just like we moved the money from Pineville, Klondike, and Railroad here intersection the roundabout money to Cleveland and Klondike. So that can be moved over for that. That,
And with that information, I'd be willing, that's an $80,000 job.
Right.
It's well
Right.
needed.
And it's needed.
Yes, so if we can
So-
do that, I'm all on board with the White Harbor bypass.
So
But
that can
not-
be
but
taken
not
off
the-
of this list, though,
All
if
but-
we get an extra money that's
Well,
not.
All but 80,000.
all but
Right,
80,000 of it.
okay, put eight, so we put
So
eight.
you, instead of having 360 there, you've got 80.
And
80 grand.
That being said, I would leave that on there. That's my opinion.
We've all agreed that West Railroad needs it, and also, East Railroad, but East Railroad doesn't need to be done right now. We do have a limit on the funds. We've already talked about, Middle Mitchell.
Well-
We've progressed with Middle Mitchell by doing the drainage.
I want to say this about that, because I talked to David yesterday about it. And he's got the widening of it. Since they had put the culverts in there, and I went and measured today, there's 18-plus feet of asphalt. So you're not scared of running in the ditch.
Right.
Because it's, I
You
think.
don't have sloughing under it.
Exactly, and I think it would be nice to widen it, but we could save some money and not widen it, because two vehicles now can easily, I don't want to say easy, I know I could pass Chris in his big truck and my big truck, and we're fine.
How much do you think we would save going from widening to just overlay?
Well, if you look at, La Rosa, he's got $70,000 for that,
Is
so
that about the same footage?
I would,
Probably close. I should have foreseen that was gonna be a question. I
well, no,
apologize.
no.
I did not.
Yeah, we still got.
Man, that's still another 40 years.
And Mitchell Road, they're still probably, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, we've probably still got a month to finish, because what they found is when they went in there, there was about 4 or 5 houses that the culverts were so rotted, it's a wonder they didn't fall in, so they have replaced them.
Yeah.
So, and Mike said they go let it, the limestone sit for 2 or 3 weeks before they go in there and finish the drives. So we still got a month on that at least, so, I mean, you could come back with that at the next meeting on.
Yeah.
Just
But-
estimate, that's 40,000
But-
savings on average.
So, and
Well, a lot of this is coming down to timing, because if you look at the sheet that I just gave you, again, the total sales tax diversion funds to date's 4.13. We've spent or have open POs for 1.24, and then you see all the match that we have for all of our GRPC projects. That's just estimating out between 25 and 26, what's coming up. If y'all decide to kind of slow down some of those projects, some of those matches may not be needed until a little bit later.
Right.
But also to make sure you understand that top number, that includes an estimate of our last draw for this fiscal year. We're gonna get about another $1 million in '26, so we still have more money coming to help fund this and to get that list of roads to continue to grow.
also, in my opinion, you could pull the Gateway parking lot out for the time being.
Yeah. It's not gonna be ready next
That's what
year.
I'm talking about.
Right.
We're
Yeah,
looking
and
at
there's
this.
some,
Right.
and there's some
that's
options.
$325,000.
Well, there's
there,
some
so-
options there on the gateway also.
Okay, so,
To look at too, so, so we've got the list down now to where we're gonna do West Railroad, La Rosa. I wanna come back to Townsend Fleury.
80 on White Harbor.
Well, it's probably a little less, because we're looking here, we've got a match of 86,000, so yeah, it'll be about 80, 76,000 at White
I
Harbor.
would offer on White Harbor, we're still waiting on the survey to be completed there to see that we actually have the
Yeah, we
land
moved-
Yes.
and how that's
I
gonna
have the
play
money.
out.
We may have to try to move that, money to, maybe we move to take care of La Rosa and Klondike intersection if we, I mean, there's places we could use it. Townsend Fleury, I want to talk about that. We have found that what have we found about the dedication of a road, David, the survey? What did y'all come up with on that?
Well, I think we landed on needing to get a title opinion on those properties because there was a little bit of cloudiness about whether we have a right-of-way. I have not been able to catch up with Steve about perhaps an alternative of that, instead of going through a formal title opinion process, and I know this is something you and I talked about, is could we just approach those property owners and say, look, there's cloudiness in whether or not this right-of-way has been dedicated. If we're gonna overlay this road for you, then we need you to go through a process of dedicating that piece of right-of-way to the city, and then that might eliminate any question about whether we have right-of-way.
Yeah, and I talked to council about that.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on us?
Mayor, yeah, you mentioned that to me at the beginning of the meeting today. My question is, how many properties, David, remind me, how many different parcels are we suggesting?
I would guess ultimately it's probably 4 to 5.
There may be an opportunity that all 4 or 5 property owners might agree to voluntarily dedicate and deed to the city that portion of property necessary to do what you're hoping to do there. But it would only take one to figure out if I refuse, the city will have to eminent domain and pay me. And that's a problem.
Well, we don't have to pave it either.
Well, that's true, you don't have to.
That's the question I have. Is that gonna open the door for other areas of Long Beach that have 4 houses on this dirt road to say, okay, I'm gonna dedicate y'all an easement and y'all are gonna come pay
Yeah,
it now?
the problem,
That'd be an approved easement, just like we do a subdivision.
the quandary, and we discussed this last time, and the mayor and I discussed it briefly before the meeting, is how is it that this portion of that street was never dedicated to the city when there's water and sewer that the city provided and maintains there? So we either somewhere have easements for that purpose, or the street should have been dedicated to us and it's not recorded someplace. I don't know what the answer to that is, but it may, that's why last time we suggested that it may take a title opinion to answer those questions. On the other hand, there's no real cost in going to 4 or 5 parcel owners and say, here's how we'd like to improve your street. Will you aid us in agreeing to dedicate this much? That may still require a survey, David, to know what we're getting and what they're giving up, quite frankly.
And I personally think that's the way that we approach this, to clear it up, because, we've got water and sewer on that road, and it had to have been approved at some time. And this is after the annexation, when the water and sewer was put there. This road has not been paved since we annexed in the early 80s. I think these homeowners, they've paid enough taxes over the years to get a paved road. And if they're willing to sign off on an easement, of course, like you said, we may have to get a survey. And if that's the case, let's do it. But let's give them the opportunity to okay us to pave that road. And if they don't, we could be looking at next administration, January, February, when we get more funds in to pave it then.
So if engineering could tell me the size of the improvements and the amount of the property that we're talking about, we could go to the property owners and request them to give the city a deed in that amount, or at least get a survey that reflects what it is they are transferring fee simple title to the city to. Or at a minimum, an easement for us to have a roadway.
Okay.
But we need to know how much it is.
Right.
Some are gonna be affected more than others, presumably.
Is that okay with the board? Let's move forward in that direction.
Mayor, let me add this. I don't want to say the individual's name, but you and I both know who.
Right.
And I believe that individual will have strong influence on the other person.
I agree with you
I
100%.
think that's the,
I don't think we'll have that hold up and not, because I think everyone on that street, Pete, that you and I have spoken to, they want that street paved.
Right.
And I don't see any hesitancy in them saying, yeah, I'll give you that 5 foot across the front of my property that I use for a road right now already.
and the influence from that one person, I think, will affect the other 4.
Absolutely.
The quickest and cleanest way, for
Well,
sure,
yeah.
if they're willing to.
So,
Is that
all
your
right,
ward?
so we'll hold that 45,000 there for Townsend Fleury. The West Railroad, White Harbor bypass is still there. The Gateway Project, parking lot can be addressed later, but there's some options there, where we do, some paving, and I'll have David, let's bring this back where we could get with Randall and you and I, and let's do a good write-up on this to explain, and this is not something that will happen within this year. It could happen next year.
Mr. Mayor, can I interrupt real quick on that form that Keeney gave us? If I can remind everybody on this board that we agreed to hold back 20%
This is about 40%.
of match money in case of an emergency. Keeney's telling us we have 1.2 million as a balance. Well, my rough math of 20% is 800,000, and that only leaves us 393,000, guys.
But we've already pulled out the match money,
It's already been accounted for.
and it's actually more like 40% of the total that we've received, but we've already obligated to these projects. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right, but $4.1 million
Yeah.
is what we have. We're taking out 1.24 million in open POs,
In expenses and open POs, yes.
and we're taking out 1.6 for our match.
Correct,
That leaves you with the 1.2 million,
right?
okay? Then we, as a board, in previous meetings.
But you don't need to hold out an extra 20% match because we've already held it out at this part.
No, we were holding out 20% over and above for emergency funds.
I thought it was 20% for match.
20% for match, that's,
No, we were holding out 20% of the money that we ever received in case there was an emergency, like at Cleveland, and we had to,
Cleveland Railroad.
we would use that 20% towards an emergency fund, not for any future matches. We were holding that as an emergency fund.
Okay.
That, and look, I just want to bring that up. If you
and
guys,
how-
if I misunderstood it, that's fine,
how
but
much are we holding out currently right now?
Well, right now, I mean, the 1.2 is what you have available.
that's all you have.
Well,
Before we go spending it,
but you do have that just 1.2, but I mean, let's be realistic. Klondike and 28th intersection. Beat line and 28th intersection. You're looking $500,000 in match right there.
but Mikey,
They're
what's?
still down the road.
I
way
agree
down
with
the
you,
road.
what you're saying. I do agree with what you're saying, but I want it to be a point that, me included, the board is always coming to Keeney and going, wait a second, I'm confused. Where do we have obligated money to? What are we using? And I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, instead of us looking at Keeney going, no, you're not giving us the right money, numbers. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here going, guys, there is, if we use this 1.2, that's all we have.
Are we allowed to hold on to that money, though, for that purpose?
But as you're coming in, because we're talking future money as well,
Out with
we're
the-
using oldest money first. I just want to make sure that if we don't want to hold that 20% any longer, then let's talk about that as well. And is it 20% of everything we got, or 20%?
Of the latest infusion.
All right, let me get with Keeney and let's pull the minutes. Let's locate the minutes where this decision was made and come back at the next board and be willing. If we find it, we'll send it out through email.
Sure.
We'll get it emailed out to
Thinking
everybody.
back, I think you're on the right track there.
It was back when we had I used the Cleveland emergency with the boring company as an example. I mean, what did that, that cost us?
Pricing.
That was over
Even though it was an
$200,000,
insurance claim,
yeah.
it cost us.
Pricing.
So I'm not against paving, I just want to make sure that we can afford to pave.
I agree with you.
I don't
So-
see anything on here that's out of the ordinary going, yes, we need to pave each and every one of these roads, but I want to be responsible with this money that we're getting.
Okay, well, it's all right, we'll bring this back up at the next meeting and have some clarification for everybody on that and the match, and see if we can make it a little cleaner and clearer for all of us. All right, next, Public Works. Mike, do you have anything?
We have nothing to report right now.
Again, thank you and your
Yeah.
folks for the excellent job they did down there. Recreation, Bob, do you have anything?
We're good, thank you.
And again, thank you to you and your folks. Building office,
Good, thank you.
Mike, thank you and your 3 people.
You know, we haven't mentioned Bob's retirement.
Well, he'll be here a lot
I know
longer than
that,
us.
but he still put his retirement in.
Yeah, he did. Bob's put in his retirement, Charlene's put in hers, and Stacy has put in hers. We'll bring that up in the next meeting.
We ain't gonna have a long meeting.
No, it's not. Municipal Court, Ms. Kyer, you have anything for us? Besides needing help? Yeah.
I hear you
Harbor.
down there, Mikey.
Huh?
Him down there.
Harbor, Harry, you have anything?
Yes, sir, we're good.
Okay. Community Affairs, Courtney.
Wait, sorry.
Better grab it while you can.
I'm thinking about my wedding, guys, I'm sorry.
I was about to say, let's remember, give her slack this week. She has a wedding this Saturday.
Yep.
And she is in wedding mode, so her mind is, as I was about to
Everywhere.
say, is a little preoccupied.
Yes. But we have Long Beach Live this Friday. It is the Stars Band. The band will start at 6:30 at the Town Green. And then also, I think the police department and City Hall, we're currently working on that cybersecurity grant, so just an FYI for that. It's due tomorrow.
Yeah. So you're working diligently on it before you get married and go on a honeymoon.
Yep.
All right, we have no derelict properties. Mr. City Attorney, you have anything for us?
I'm afraid so. Mayor, I'd request we go into executive session to discuss a number of lease, potential lease problems, litigations,
All right,
a number of items.
got a motion second, lease, discussion. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. What? No action taken. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion second to adjourn.
So move.
All right, got a motion second to adjourn. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Dismissed.